From the Kansas City Royals, number 23, Mark Gubicza. From the Milwaukee, leading off the American League's top vote getter of 1989, from the Kansas City Royals, the left fielder, number 16, Bo Jackson.
Into left center field, coming in a hurry to pick it off. A fine catch by Bo Jackson, and that saves the American League from further damage. A couple of runs on 2 hits, and at the end of half an inning, 2-0 National. Bo Jackson making the catch on the ball hit by Guerrero to prevent further damage, and now the American League will be coming up, leading with the National League leading 2-0. And as Bo Jackson comes up, we talked about Ozzie Smith and you wearing a Cardinal uniform. And Jackson wears baseball and football, and you did football.
Yes, I played the Gipper, but I also played for real in a much earlier time. But that Bo down there, that's a pretty interesting hobby he has for his vacation. When baseball ends, he winds up playing football. I don't know if there's ever been anyone doing it.
Hey. He's remarkable, and look at that one. Bo Jackson says hello. Woo. And Rick Russell is greeted on the first pitch to Bo Jackson. He almost hit it out of state.
You know, that's going to set it up pretty interesting for him to the end of this season when he goes back to the Los Angeles Raiders.
Watch this again, sir. You could have taken a trip to Washington, I think. High fives in the dugout. It is 2-1 National League. Interestingly enough, on the home run, the last 4 home runs in All-Star games have all been hit by the American League. And boy, that thing was really crushed. So Bo Jackson and Wade Boggs balanced the budget in the first inning in a blink of an eye. And at the end of 1 inning, a 2-2 tie. So first and third, 1 out, and here comes Bo. If you wondered, as I did, what is his name besides Big Bad Bo, it is, for the record, Vincent Edward Jackson.
Talking to Gene Mock about hitting Bo first. Of course, Mock, who managed here for many years for the Angels. And Mock said, gee, I did exactly the same thing in 1965. Hit Willie Mays first in the lineup. He hit the second ball out of the ballpark. Bo did the same thing.
1 ball, no, on the corner. 0-1. That's Jim Evans behind the plate. Do you remember the last 3-run home run hit in an All-Star game?
You're going to tell me I gave it up?
Mm-hmm.
I knew that. I knew it.
Well, you know, that's right. The last 3-run home run, you were on the mound and Carl Yastrzemski took you downtown. But because you're so great, I can bring it up.
I just had a feeling that was a loaded question.
1-1 to Bo. Ooh, good fastball.
Jackson struck out 146 times last year. He got 96 Ks already, and that's right where he's susceptible. You don't want to let him extend those big arms. Against Ruschel, he just simply went down, extended the arms, and got the pitch low in the strike zone.
Breaking ball grounded to short. Ozzie Smith to Sandberg. Back to first. No contest. Bo is there. The run is in. And the American League leads 3-2.
The National League may be the team that is known for their speed, but Jackson is the one on the American League squad that gives them the idea of a ball club that can really run. He can run as well as anybody on the field out there today. A good left field hitter, Wade Boggs. He's played Pepper with the Green Monster in Boston, and Davis is playing him straight away. Usually they will defense him more to left field, try and give him no big holes in the infield.
There goes Bo, and Santiago throws it into center field, and Jackson is on his way to third. Stolen base, error 2. Benito Santiago, who the last count I had threw out 8 runners while on his knees, did not even get it in the neighborhood, and Jackson just kept on going.
Santiago's been throwing out about 46% of the runners that are attempting to steal against him, and he just simply gets his elbow down. And
however, the American League, a run, 2 hits, there was an error. It's 3-2 thanks to Bo, and we'll be back after these messages from your local station.
The 1989 All-Star Game is brought to you by the Heartbeat of America, today's Chevrolet, the official choice of Major League Baseball.
Bo Jackson. I'm the kind of guy usually when the opposing team comes into town, I go watch the other team hit, but I think that when Bo comes into town in Kansas City Royals, everybody's downstairs watching Bo hit because you're not going to believe what you're going to see. He's going to hit balls about 600 feet. It's something you've never seen before. It's incredible, so you really have to be there to see it.
And fortunately, we were all here, including Kirby Puckett. Tonight on Later with Bob Costas, Bob chats with one of baseball's all-time greats, appropriately enough, Mickey Mantle. So be sure to watch the best in late night entertainment only on NBC.
you guys are going pretty good. You get President Reagan, and Costas gets Mickey Mantle. The boys are having a good night.
And the world gets Mark Gubicza. So it's been Stewart, Ryan, and now Gubicza in the 4th inning. And the big right-hander will be working on Howard Johnson, Pedro Guerrero, and Ryan Sandberg. So Gubicza becomes our 6th pitcher, and we're just starting up in the 4th. The American League hitters have already enjoyed the evening. 8 of the 9 starters have at least one base hit. Cal Ripken has hit into a force play and grounded out. Everybody else has climbed aboard the wagon. Howard Johnson singled to drive in a run in the 1st inning. Davey Johnson talking about Howard Johnson. Our season, more or less, has been a Howard Johnson highlight film. And you bet it has been. 22 home runs, 57 runs batted in. And in his own words, as Howard says, I firmly believe it, I'm the best third baseman in the National League. Chopper foul outside of first.
Some talk that he may be the best shortstop in the
For the Mets.
National League. He's talking about they may move him to shortstop for offensive reasons. Obviously, talk of being unhappy with Elster swinging the bat. I think that would be a mistake. He's a great offensive player. Play third and be comfortable for you, and going to be in one position, concentrated in his offense, and just concentrate on the defense at third base.
If you joined us a little bit late, the National League started out as if they're going to run away with it. They had 2 runs, 3 hits. They pulled off a double steal, but it has been all American League since then. Mark McGwire picking that one nicely, 1 down. In the bottom of the 1st inning, a tremendous home run by Bo Jackson. Not that it's 404 to center, that's far enough. But the Bo, Vincent Edward Jackson, hit one up into the black background of the 2nd deck in center field. The black background that they use to furnish as a background for the hitters. I don't know where that spot would be. 450, I don't know. What a shot. Strike to Pete Guerrero, who flied to left field in the 1st inning. Might have had himself 2 RBIs if the fly ball falls, but the ever-present Bo Jackson was there to pick it off. Good fastball.
You can be fooled by looking at Gubicza's number. I mean, numbers in the sense that he's only 8 and 6, but an earned run average of just over 2.5. Maybe the best slider in the game today. Very, very hard slider. Good fastball, has become very effective. 20-game winner last year when he decided and learned that he didn't have to throw everything 800 miles an hour. He should just try to muscle everything. Fastball, slider, he tried to muscle it through the strike zone. He has been a workhorse for the Kansas City Royals and much more effective since he is starting to make that transition from thrower to pitcher.
You know, you talk about a workhorse. Today, if a pitcher works 220, you figure he's working a lot. Gubicza might be the throwback type and go 300 innings. There was that slider and a check swing by Guerrero as the ball exploded, and he fouled it away.
Gubicza throw the hard stuff inside, and there you can see the slider very tight. Guerrero trying to catch up to it and just enough to foul it off.
3-2 the count to Pete Guerrero. For Guerrero, it shows you what will happen if you change ballparks and change teams. It's a big difference playing in the airport that is Busch Stadium. In 1985, you may remember, he set a National League record by hitting 15 home runs in the month of June. He didn't hit any home runs in June this year. Ground ball to Boggs. That'll take care of him.
Boggs throwing with a sore arm at third base. He hurt his shoulder sliding into a base in Boston just prior to the All-Star game. Had an injection in his shoulder to try and relieve some of the discomfort before he came here to Anaheim. And he says, I just hope it heals enough in a couple of days I can make some throws. You can see him almost short arm the ball. Does not want to extend it. You know, throw and then bring the arm. Oh, you see him bring it in. So he is having a little bit of trouble throwing to third base.
Well, if you're somebody like an Ozzie Smith, you might immediately see that throw and say, I wonder about laying one down and what kind of a throw. And Ozzie sits there with Kevin Mitchell and Coach Bill Russell alone with his thoughts. Out on deck, Mike Scioscia prepares to bat for Benito Santiago. So we'll see if they try to put some pressure on Boggs at all, but this has become a slugfest anyway. The American League, 2 runs in the first inning, 1 in the second, and 2 more in the third to lead 5-2.
In 1988, Gubicza averaged almost 8 innings per start. Almost 8 innings per start. This year, 20 starts, 161 innings. He is just over 8 innings per start.
Fastball missed, 2 balls, 2 strikes to Ryne Sandberg, who's been the Cubs' second baseman since 1982. He's been something. He's had at least 600 at-bats in 6 of his 7 full years, which means he gives you a hard day's work every day.
One of those players that doesn't say much. And very quietly, just keeps adding on the numbers.
The only time he went on the DL, a very close play at first base in Busch Stadium in St. Louis, and he extended himself to beat the throw, hit the bag awkwardly, sprained an ankle, and had to go on the DL. Only time. 2-2. Oh, the breaking ball got him. He gave on it, and that hard slider nailed him. Toughest pitch in the world at this time especially, and the National League is gone in order. Going to the bottom of the 4th inning, we have a moment. It'll be Bo Jackson, Wade Boggs, and Kirby Puckett. And for those who did not see it, watch where this ball went in the first inning. Rick Russell, a sinker ball pitcher, and Jackson took him into the deepest part of center field. Jackson will be facing a new battery trying to outwit him. Mike Scioscia of the Dodgers will take over behind the plate. And Tim Burke on the mound. And seeing Tim Burke, that is another great human interest story here in the All-Star game. Tim and his wife Christine adopted a little Korean girl recently, maybe a year or so ago. His wife is now in Guatemala, and as soon as he is pitching here, Tim will go to Los Angeles, get on an airplane, fly to Guatemala because he and Christine are adopting a baby boy, 2-year-old. Line drive, base hit for Bo Jackson. So it is really heartwarming with all of the other things you hear and read about, to read and hear of the Tim Burke story. So Bo Jackson has a home run, a single, and a stolen base. And Wade Boggs will be the batter. Willie Mays in the second game, remember they used to play 2 All-Star games back in 1960, had a home run and a stolen base. There goes Bo, but it's going to be a hit-and-run ground ball. He would have stolen second base. He had such a big jump on Tim Burke, but he loses the steal as Boggs grounds out.
Unusual for Boggs to swing at the first pitch, too. He may not have known that Bo is going. Boggs has great concentration at the plate, and maybe he did not see Bo go.
Received a 3-year extension on his contract to manage the Oakland A's. Kirby Puckett lifting a fly ball to left center. Eric Davis. Bo is going to tag, and Davis has a good arm. Here's the challenge, and it will be the Bo going in on his landing gear. So Jackson single, took second as Boggs grounded out. Takes third on Kirby Puckett's fly ball. And Harold Baines will be coming up.
You know, we talked about before the game about whether players really care, if this means something to them. Is it a game they'll hustle in? Look at this. This guy has been all over the field. This is a stage and he can show his talents, and he is certainly doing it tonight.
Thinking that he went into third like a fullback, it reminded us National League President Bill White introduced him to the media corps the other day as Bo Jackson from the Los Angeles Raiders. But of course you can understand, Bo knows them all. You betcha. He might be the first 40-40 man and 500-yard man. After all, Bo, I think in one game last year against Seattle, he rushed for 220 some odd yards. So they leave Bo Jackson at third, and at the end of 4 it remains 5-2 American League. It'll be Mike Scioscia in his first All-Star at bat. Hits one down the left field line, foul and out of play. We alluded to Bo Jackson's home run. If you didn't see it, it was really worth seeing in the first inning. And it illustrates just how far he can hit a ball. Now look where this thing goes. Not just over the fence. Way up in there. He keeps everybody in a scramble. So here he is. Jackson, the home run. He had a stolen base in the second inning, and for good measure, a base hit to right. And that was in the 4th.
He's been on base every time he's been up there in the first, second, and the 4th inning. You see the size of his arms, and somebody is finally throwing him some off-speed stuff. Davis, maybe the best curveball in baseball today.
Yeah, I think you agree.
Yep.
Certainly in the National League.
And can throw that heat. Now, he threw that ball right by Bo Jackson out over the plate, and that's right where Jackson likes to hit the ball. And he has several home runs to right field.
Good curveball to punch him up. Now that's an idea of what kind of a pitcher Davis is. He breaks off that nasty curveball and strikes out Bo Jackson.
Well, it's 3 pitches, and on the bench you can hear people in the National League saying good morning, good afternoon, and this one is good night.
Welcome to the club.
Welcome to the club. You have just punched out on 3 pitches.
The batter now will be Gary Gaetti. In left field, Mike Greenwell will finish for Bo Jackson. Tony La Russa would like to get in position players, Kelly Gruber and Jeffrey Leonard.
Bo Jackson, and the Bo Jackson legend continues. First pitch, very first All-Star at bat, and you hit it out. Was there anything in particular you were looking for from Rick Russell?
Well, not really. The guys told me that he was mainly a slider, a sinker ball pitcher, and he left I think he left his sinker out over the plate just a little bit, and I was able to call swing and get a piece of it.
Both 3 years ago, you were struggling in the big leagues, and the same holds true for 2 years back, and there were people doubting that you could do it in both sports. Is there a sense of revenge in that you have certainly answered those who had doubted that you could do it in both sports at the same time?
Well, I really don't pay any type of attention to that. The only people that I worry about not doubting me is my family. And they were behind me 100%, and that's all that really mattered.
Will it ever come to a point where you feel you will have to choose football or baseball?
One day.
Leaning to anything at this point, particularly the way the baseball career of Bo Jackson has gone?
One day.
One day.
One day.
All right, one day. It says baseball all-star Bo Jackson. Let's get back to Vin.
The American League has taken 2 straight All-Star games for the first time in more than 30 years. They won back-to-back in 57 and 58, and they do it last year and again this year. A reminder, stay tuned following local news for The Tonight Show, starring Johnny Carson, followed by Late Night with David Letterman, and later with Bob Costas, except on the West Coast and most Mountain Time Zone stations, where these programs will be seen at their regular time. The most valuable player of the 1989 All-Star Game in Anaheim comes as no surprise, Vincent Edward Bo Jackson. And now for Tom Seaver, this is Vincent